It's like they raised money not to help Kamala Harris win. They raised money to pay themselves. This is crazy. This is insane.
Yeah. So look, we don't know if they spend that money more efficiently than a different polling company would have spent it. But we do know that.
And we are back for another edition of Ana Kasparian Getting Annoyed with Cenk Uygur. Let's see what goes down in today's episode.
Then it's not your nature to just stand where you're told to stand. Give it a try.
That was a strange reaction to Senator Bernie Sanders during the official Senate swearing in, where Kamala Harris told him to stand in a specific place and tell him, I know it's not in your nature to stand where you're told to stand. I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, Cenk, but it seemed a little like she's trying to say something. You get what I'm saying? Like there was more to it than telling him to do something.
Like that old TYT clip. It was a little aggressive. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, look, it's a joke. And it's true, Bernie is not good at doing what he's told to do. Except he did under Biden, and I thought that was the problem, not the solution. But anyways, overall, not a big deal. They joked around, God bless. And I mean, if she's got a little passive aggressive in her after losing an election, I'm gonna let it slide.
Okay, all right. Are you not merciful? Now, if she was intending to be passive aggressive, what could be behind it? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and speculate that it could be the fact that Senator Bernie Sanders, especially after the election, has been calling out the corporate corruption of the Democratic Party. And when it comes to corporate corruption, well, let's just say the Harris campaign didn't raise billions of dollars out of thin air. And so just before the election, Senator Sanders made these comments while on CNN.
This should not be a close election. And I think the Democrats, win or lose, have got to take a very hard look at themselves and ask how it could be that a significant majority of working class people in this country are prepared to vote for Donald Trump. And the truth is, what has got to happen is the Democrats have got to wake up and say, you know what? Instead of worrying about big money interests and campaign contributions from billionaires, we got to stand with the working class of this country. And we need an agenda that is a popular agenda that speaks to Democrats and Republicans.
Senator Sanders says Democrats need a popular agenda. Stop listening to your corporate donors. The corporate capture of the Democratic Party is a liability. And to be sure, following that interview, the Democrats went on to lose the presidential race.
Real quick, I just want to throw this out there. Is it that Democrats are listening to corporate donors, or is it that, I mean, yeah, I know that there is a degree of them listening to corporate donors. I know that. But I always got the impression it's the corporations kind of bending to the Democrats and to the liberal agenda. I mean, you see these big corporations putting out the pro-LGBTQ messaging and stuff like that, and these the messaging that the Democrat and the liberals put out there. So I'm just kind of throwing that out there. What do you guys think about that in the comment section?
Lost control of the Senate, and Donald Trump won the popular vote. Now, immediately after the election, Senator Sanders also released a fiery takedown of the Democratic Party, something that we covered extensively here at TYT. But in case you missed it, he said it should come as no great surprise that the Democratic Party, which has abandoned working class people, would find that the working class has abandoned them. While the Democratic leadership defends the status quo, the American people are angry and want change, and they're right. Will the big money interests and well-paid consultants who control the Democratic Party learn any real lessons from this disastrous campaign? Will they understand the pain and political alienation that tens of millions of Americans are experiencing? Do they have any ideas as to how we can take on the increasingly powerful oligarchy, which has had so much economic and political power? And he comes to the conclusion that probably not. So, again, it's my speculation that if Kamala Harris was intending to be salty during that interaction, this could have something to do with it. But I have a lot to say about some of the latest reporting in regard to the grifters who took a chunk of those billions raised by the Harris campaign and the possible self-dealing that's taking place here when it comes to some of these consultants? We're
going to skip ahead a little bit here. Sound off in the comment section with your thoughts so far. Subscribe to my channel if you're enjoying so far. Smash that like button. Let's continue.
Money on behalf of Kamala Harris's campaign and then spent $18 million on other like election-related companies that were like, that these individuals were part of. Okay, so let me give you some specific examples. One of the things that the firm did during the election was create online and text message surveys. GCJ Research was Future Forward's second highest paid vendor as of October 16th, according to the FEC. So the folks at Future Forward raised money for the campaign and then funnel that money to other organizations that the same people who founded Future Forward are employed by. How is that not self-dealing? Okay, and the connections don't end there. So McLean's company, PFB Media, was also paid by Future Forward PAC. The company was paid more than $1.2 million by the PAC for ad production, according to FEC records. How is this legal? In November of last year, Li Fang also reported that another research firm, Open Labs, which also does business under Blue Rose Research, received another $759,707 from Future Forward. The founders of the Super PAC also work at Open Labs. Guys, how is this okay? It's like they raised money not to help Kamala Harris win. They raised money to pay themselves. This is crazy. This is insane.
Yeah. So look, we don't know if they spend that money more efficiently than a different polling company would have spent it, but we do know that they gave your money to themselves. We do know that, okay? And remember, a lot of the consultants, especially if they're working on the part where they collect the money and then spend it on ads, get 15%. So the more money that they raise, even if it's counterproductive, even if you're kissing donor ass and costing yourself tons of voters, they have a financial incentive to keep doing that, even if it costs them the election, because they're going to raise more money from those same donors. So they've got already one terrible incentive in that 15% that they get. That's usually how it works. And then they have now a second terrible incentive, which is take all your money and funnel it to their own companies. I mean, if this company was a really respected polling organization that didn't employ the top 3 people in the Kamala Harris campaign, then I'd say, well, I mean, you got to do polling, and apparently they spent it in that direction, okay? But it does employ the top 3 people. In fact, it's named after the top 3 people in the Kamala campaign. And on top of that, they had almost no contracts before the Kamala campaign. They had one $7,000 contract in the last cycle. That's it. So this thing has no experience, no nothing, and all of a sudden the people that handle the money of the Kamala campaign, they just decided that they should get $18 million of it. And I guess they did some polling. Was it really worth $18 million? You'll never find out. How much of it was margin? You'll never find out.
It wasn't worth the paper it was printed on, Cenk. Okay, like she performed far worse than the polling indicated. Far worse. Come on.
Yeah, no, I know. No, I'm just telling you, like, we're being fair. The content of it, if they would like to come out and say, oh no, look, here's how much we spent, here's how little margin we made, and here's how it compares to the other vendors, I'd be thrilled to get it. But they'll do no such thing. This is the last time you'll ever hear about it. Because
So it seemed like Cenk was being a little bit defensive of the Democrat Party and all this donor spending and such. You know, it seems like Cenk's trying to give them the benefit of a doubt yet again, and Ana Kasparian is calling him out for it. I mean, does this show Cenk Uygur is not really turning over a new leaf? He's trying to be more fair. He's going on these right-wing podcasts and stuff and right-wing shows, and then going on his apology tour on the left-wing shows. But at the end of the day, I think we all know where his heart still belongs. I wonder how long it is before Ana Kasparian finally goes off on her own. But what do you guys think about this? Sound off in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoy content like this. And if you do enjoy content like this, I got a whole bunch more goodies for you on the screen to click away and enjoy.